One of the things I wish I'd done differently when I was in my late 20s, I bought a it was a 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath townhouse. I was very excited. I'd saved up all for the down payment and all this stuff. And I lived in that alone pretty much for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. And it was a great townhouse. I loved it. It did everything I needed. I had plenty of space. But my golly, if I had brought in a roommate or two, that house could have paid for itself. And I could live for free. Now, yes, you're like, yeah, but then you're sharing your house and you have roommates. I'm like, well, yeah. But again, back to exhibit A of living in the house for free. They paid off my house. Well, they didn't because they didn't exist, but they could have. And, when you're single, you can totally bring roommates in. It's not like you're living with, a spouse and 3 kids and a dog and 2 cats and fish tanks and whatever else. Like, that's different. You can still bring people in and share your home. A little more complicated. But man, I was single living in a house way too big for me for just one person. And it was a luxury for sure. I just wish I'd thought about this whole idea of renting out part of it. That could have been such a huge difference in my financial future and just how long it took to get from there to here kind of a thing. So little nugget, if you have spare space in your house, think about, letting it out, renting a room, that kind of a thing. Obviously, you're going to have to screen to make sure you don't get any bozos in there. You don't want that happening. But if you're young, man, I keep hearing from younger folks these days of how no one can afford a house, and real estate prices are really high, and that is not incorrect. I do agree with those statements. However, this whole idea of house hacking, where you buy a bigger house than you need, but then you end up renting out the space in it, and then you can completely afford it because they are helping pay the utilities. You're living in a bigger, nicer home that, by the way, you own. You can profit off it. It becomes an income producing asset instead of a liability, which is nice, or maybe in addition to a liability. I mean, you still have to, it's houses are liabilities no matter how you look at them, but they can also be income producing assets at the same time in a weird sort of way. Don't go all accounting on me. I totally understand